Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, or any podcast player of your choice. So subscribe for free once you're done listening to this episode, just in case you're using your web browser to listen. Today on the show, we have audio recordings from the WhatsApp School of Business program that I advertised on Saturday, the 15th of July 2023. The goal of the program was to introduce folks to the fundamentals of doing business in Nigeria and to show how sales and business development principles can help you overcome the harsh landscape of doing business in our dearly beloved country. I also wanted to answer general business questions posed by the participants, and the program was delivered entirely over WhatsApp for the course of more than 1 week. And this is an example of how you can get truly convenient business education in your pocket and learning over WhatsApp at your convenience. If you love what you hear on the podcast and you like daily access to me, to ask me questions related on how to sell in your business, then the WhatsApp Coaching Club is now open, and the investment required for that is only 5,000 Naira a month. You ask me anything, I give you answers and assignments to move your business forward. So if you're interested, hit me up on the socials. Don't worry about how to spell my name. I spend most of my time on LinkedIn, and my name, Tavashima Ayede, is the correct spelling. You can find it in the web browser where you're currently listening to this episode. You see the spelling of my name, the email address, and the photo, and it's also in the profile of the podcast app where you're currently listening to my voice. So Tavashima Ayede, the correct spelling of the name, is there. So if you're interested in the 5K, the WhatsApp Coaching Club, the 5K monthly investment, then let me know. Hit me up, send me a message on 080 6466 2140. The country code for Nigeria is +234. And for those of you who are trying to save to start a business, I'm affiliated with a reputable financial institution in Nigeria that has 504 billion naira in assets. And what that means is they're not going to go broke anytime soon. They're a secure organization to work with. They're not going to run away with your money anytime soon. They're in the business of protecting and guaranteeing your savings. This is not a bank, so you're not going to have an ATM card. You're not going to get hit by lots of miscellaneous fees. And you're going to get you're going to get an improvement on the interest that you get from regular savings banks in Nigeria. And then, of course, this is safer than using loan sharks for the capital to start your business, because loan sharks are going to want to embarrass you and your whole family, and they want you to put your father and your mother up as as collateral for the loan. So if you're interested, then hit me up on 080 6466 2140 to get started on saving towards your dream. Now remember, it doesn't have to be saving towards a business. Any savings plan will do. People have saved with this organization for their children's education. Let's say, like me, you have kids in primary school and you're wondering about secondary school and the all-expensive university education. And then, of course, folks like my mom saving towards retirement. So if you're interested, hit me up and let's get you started. Now, on with the episode for today. Hello and welcome to day 10. My name is Tavashima Ayede. I'm your host, sales coach, and business consultant. Yesterday on day 9, we looked at how to use good sales skills to take only meetings that matter. And of course, meetings that matter are those ones that might turn into new business. Because if we have infrastructure problems, with transportation and all that, then we should make the best use of our time and only drive to meetings or take transport to meetings or struggle to get to meetings only when it matters that might turn into good business for us. So today on day 10, we're going to use sales skills to get around problems of corruption, bureaucracy, and all these power play problems that stand in the way of getting business done in climes like Nigeria. Now, there's a common theme for all these problems. That's corruption, bureaucracy, and all the multiple certifications that we have to get as entrepreneurs in this part of the world. And the common theme is this, that there's an over-concentration of power at the top. In this part of the world, it's just a necessary evil that we have to do with. Because if you listen to the audio from, I think it was day 4, where I talked about corruption and bureaucracy, you'll find that if you are the baker in Abuja or in Lagos and you need to get your water permit or your design permit, you can't get rid of the fact that you have to deal with the local government chairman, and that oftentimes you have to deal with him directly because there's no dedicated office to that. It's not like you can go and pay in his absence. At least in my own case, back when I was a wedding photographer and I had to go and pay one of the levies because of the outdoor advertising thing, I couldn't pay because the chairman was not around, so I had to go 3 or 4 times. So it's a necessary evil. If you are the lowly baker in Abuja or in Lagos, you can't get around that fact that you have to deal with local government chairman. It's not like you can snap your finger and then he's going to be gone overnight. So these people and these brute facts are just a necessary evil that we have to contend with. However, when we try to contend with these things or deal with these people, we have to make sure that we don't cross ethical boundaries of bribery, nepotism, and those sorts of things. So I'm not saying that you should go and bribe the local government chairman, the local council chairman, or whatever, so he's in your good books, so that next time you need something, he's going to be at your beck and call. So I'm not speaking about that. I'm talking about solving these problems from a sales and business development perspective. So traditionally, from a sales and business development perspective, when we have to deal with these sorts of things, we're typically going to be looking at the skills or the frameworks that allow us to build strong alliances or that allow us to network effectively. And just in case those of you, there might be some of you who think that I'm just spinning stuff out of my bum and that this is not something that actually is real, but it is. Because if you check online or if you check in old sales books, you come across different kinds of acronyms that refer to these sorts of people. Kind of. One of them is the VITO. I think that's the very important top officer. Then let's see what else. Okay, I can't remember all the other acronyms, but basically these terms do exist because salespeople in different parts of the world for a very long time have had to recognize and grapple with the fact that for me to make this sale, I'm going to have to go through this person, this chairman, this engineer, this person who seems to be a bottleneck of access, who seems to be a gatekeeper of some sort, whether the person is high or low. So like in my case, and in the case of cake bakers in Abuja and in Lagos, for instance, dealing with the local council chairman or the local revenue office or whatever it is that stands in your way of getting something done. So we have to figure out ways of getting to these VITOs, these very top officials. We have to figure out what their motivations are and aligning them to your own business objectives. In other words, folks like me, wedding photographers, well, first of all, I shouldn't have run foul of whatever the penalties were, and my penalty should have been paid on time. But it would not hurt if, in you carrying out your business, you realize that if you're going to have to be in touch with the local government chairman or the local council chairman from time to time, it only makes sense to put yourself in situations where you're going to be networking with these sorts of people, building alliances with these sorts of people, figuring out what their motivations are, aligning them to your own personal motivations or your business objectives so that when the time comes, these people are a phone call away or you have easy access to their office so that you can get things done. Now, a word on networking. A lot of people think networking is going to solve their problem today. But unfortunately, networking works best yesterday. It doesn't work very well today. If we took the time out rather to build a network 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, then those people would be available for us to call on today when we have a problem. If not, if you try calling those people today to try and get your problem solved, if you try calling the local government chairman today out of the blue, then of course he's going to think, what's in it for me? He's going to think you're a selfish user, or he's going to think you're a taker. But if you had built alliances with local government chairman 2 years ago, yesterday, 4 years ago, or whatever, it's possible that local government chairman, local council chairman views you as a valuable resource. So when you call, he'll pick up the phone and he'll be like, hey, Madam Kemi, how you doing? Long time. And you guys can have that valuable conversation. So networking, building alliances, going to be very useful. But unfortunately, if you have a problem today, this is not going to help because networking works best when you did it yesterday. So that is the reason why networking should be an ongoing process, because building your network, and establishing alliances today, you have no possible way of knowing what or who is going to be a valuable resource for tomorrow. So if you have no network to lean on now, then sorry, you are out of luck. Luckily, networking is something that we've made lots of episodes on this podcast. On my podcast, rather, because this is not a podcast episode. I'm addressing this to members of the free WhatsApp group. That's the Doing Business in Nigeria 101. So I have a podcast, a weekly podcast, about 2-3 episodes a week, which is separate from this community where we're hanging out here on WhatsApp, and it's called Sales for the Nigerian Business Person Podcast. I have made several episodes on networking. We have over 650 episodes there, over 655 episodes there. And so if you're curious about how to network effectively, because there'll be no point in me taking time out to say over here what I've said severally in other places, all you have to do is check the podcast on Google Podcast, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, any podcast player of your choice. Even if you're one of those people who like to listen to your podcasts on your web pages, then then you use the search function and search for episodes in the podcast where I spoke about where I spoke about networking, and then you're going to be able to get caught up to speed on different perspectives of networking, how best to go about it, how to derive value from the networks, and also how you should give value to the networks. Because if you're not giving value to your networks, then when you call on people, they're going to shun you, they're going to delete you, they're going to block you, they're going to ignore you, because you're just a taker and because you're just selfish. So search within the podcast. Again, it's Sales for the Nigerian Business Person. Also, I have a paid WhatsApp group where I coach people's specific problems. So it's not like this general WhatsApp group that we are on right now. So if you have specific cases that you would like to work on, then hit me up in the private message in the DM, and let's see how we can get you started. So thank you very much for paying attention to day 10. We'll continue with day 11 tomorrow, where we'll be looking at solutions to all the problems that we came up with from day 2 to I think day 6 or day 7. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at tomorrow's session.